Hi friends, good day. In the last class we had a theory discussion, bit of theory discussion. I've completed investment and a credit company to begin with. I told you in 2019, that is on 22nd February 19, investment and a credit company for harmonization of the non-banking financial companies categories decide to merge three NBFCs, non-banking financial company, asset company, investment company, and loan company. We have discussed briefly about asset finance company. An asset financial company which comes under investment and credit company. Earlier, this was in our CHAMS material and even in the old study material. They have shown this as three separate companies, like asset finance company, and then comes investment company, loan company. So the asset finance company, they financing of various assets for individually and the business supporting producing economic activity as a principal business. That means whoever wants to acquire assets for them, they will be advancing the money, they will be providing the money. For what kind of assets? For example, automobiles, tractors, machinery, heavy industrial equipment. I have given example last class: large power generator, lathe machines, earth moving and material handling equipment, production and farming equipment moving on own power, and general purpose industrial machines. So this is what the intention of non-banking finance companies to provide these kind of financing for acquiring assets, acquiring the assets by the individuals. So this is what is called as investment and credit company. This is the objective of this. In investment and credit company, first part is asset finance company. This I have explained in the last class. Then investment company, I told you. Investment and credit company is including them when they have merged. I think in future these 3 points can be merged. Which 3 points can be merged? As I told you, asset finance company and investment company and loan company. So is these three, if you merge, it will be becoming investment and credit company. In that investment and credit company, first point I've explained in the last class. Since I've explained at the conclusion, just I'm repeating in 2 minutes time what we have discussed on that. The financial institutions whose principal business is the acquisition of securities, that is, it takes money from the public which is invested in various securities and financial products. Then the company directs its operational cost from the earned profit and balance is distributed to its shareholders. So investment company or the financial institution whose principal business is the acquisition of security, that is, it takes money from the public which is invested in various securities and financial products. Then the company deducts operational cost from the earned profit. What are the profit they earn from that? Operational cost will be deducted and the balance will be distributed to its shareholders. This is called as investment company. Okay. And you can take example, Bajaj Allianz and General Insurance Company, HDFC mutual funds are the examples which comes under the category of investment company. They take the money from the public, they invest on that, they will be getting some profit. That profit, out of that profit, they take out operating expenses and then finally they will be distributing to the balance to its shareholders. The next one I told you last class, loan company. Loan company is a financial institution that offers loan for various purposes, but except asset finance company, because exclusively the objective of asset finance company is providing the loan for people who want to acquire assets. So now the loan is offered not for assets but for other purposes such as working capital finance, for providing working capital finance. Example I have given you, LIC Finance Limited will come under that. The main objective of giving the loan is for providing working capital. So these three have been merged and they will be calling as investment and credit company. Then infrastructure finance company. This we should need to start here. This it's not e-finance company. I think this e will come under here. It's like it jumped into next line. Otherwise, it's electronic finance company. You may get a meaning. So it is infrastructure finance company, popularly called as IFC. They'll be using some abbreviations. Okay, I think that you should be able to see. This is my dear friends. My see whatever has been given in the material to the possible extent for you to understand. I am telling the things. I am right from the beginning. I've been telling you everything is not important from examination point of view. First objective is overall subject view. You should be having overall subject view and absorbing it. Then problems part, whatever the problems part is, that we will be focusing. So that is what I've been explaining. Generally, people say they briefly they explain. You can refer, but I think the language or the terms which you come across, I think need bit of explanation. That is the reason I am trying to explain these things to you. Then infrastructure finance company. See the infrastructure, I think that itself, the term itself is clear to you that infrastructure finance company is about providing financing for infrastructure development, roads, buildings, or whatever you need, bridges, etc. They mainly basically providing that. So if you look into it, this infrastructure finance company, it deploys 75% of its total assets infrastructure loans. This company will deploy 75% or say 3/4 of its total assets in infrastructure loans. Nowadays we have been, for any country to develop infrastructure, we need to have a proper infrastructure. I think that is the country is going economically. Infrastructure is a very, very important thing. I think the government, any government, you see they are giving importance to infrastructure development. So infrastructure finance company deploys 75% of its total assets in infrastructure loans, and they are having as a minimum net owned fund of rupees 300 crores. We'll be discussing what is net owned fund after completion of this theory part today class itself, how to calculate net owned fund. For the time being, as a minimum net owned fund of rupees 300 crores, please remember minimum net owned fund is 300 crores. Has been ranked at least A in its credit rating of or similar. So it has been ranked at least, like you see CRISIL rating or Brickwork or Fitch, CARE and ICRA. There are so many credit rating agencies, and this company has to be rated A in rating given by these credit rating agencies. Okay, and then capital to risk asset ratio of at least 15%. Okay, and minimum tier 1 capital is to be 5%. I think these things just for theory purpose, everything is given a lengthy manner. Just I've been telling condensed. I think you can see that after understanding it, you can refer to the material, you can understand it very easily. Okay, so it has been ranked at least A, like you say A grade or B grade, whatever you talk about, in rating of or similar agencies like CRISIL, Fitch or CARE or ICRA or Brickwork ratings, etc. Then capital to risk asset ratio has to be 15%. Now, example of these infrastructure companies is GMR Infrastructure, Hindustan Construction will come under the category of infrastructure companies. Okay, GMR and Hindustan Construction. Next, systematically important core investment company. Systematically important core investment company. So main purpose is to invest. That is what it is called as systematically important core investment company. It holds at least 90% of its total assets in the form of investment in shares, stocks, debt or loan group company. See, simple logic is that I told you systematically important core investment means the main objective of this company NBFC is to invest in the form of share, stocks, debt, or loan on in group companies. So, and that investment to be calling as a core, it should hold at least 90% of its total assets. 90% of total assets is to be into this investment activity. That is what is called a systematically important core investment company. So it is called a CIS. END means non-deposit, non-deposit, and SI means systematically important. Systematically important. The abbreviation they given. CIC is core investment company, non-deposit, and systematic investment company. Then I said 90% at least holds 90% of its total assets in investing in the form of shares, debts, and stocks or debts or a loan. I told you, but out of that 90%, 60% should be invested in equity shares or those which compulsorily convert later into equity shares. Say either you have to, out of 90% investment out of the total assets of the company, 60% should be in equity shares or those which compulsorily convert later into, say preference shares compulsorily converting into equity shares. There you have to invest, and within a period of not exceeding 10 years from the date of issue. Compulsorily convertible means from the date of issue within 10 years time, if you are converting that into equity shares, in that, in simple words, you need to invest in equity shares. Out of 90%, 60% has to be in the form of equity shares. I think they are giving more significance, because what happened, you will be having a ownership, investing in ownership, no? So I think it's a good sign that company also will progress, and does not trade in its investment in shares, debt, or loan in group companies except through block sale for the purpose of dilution or disinvestment. Generally does not trade in its investment in shares or debt. Trading means buying and selling. The main purpose is to hold it. Unless if you want to go for disinvestment as a block sale, they can sell. Otherwise they cannot go for trading activity of this investment. And the asset size is 100 rupees, 100 crores or more. Okay. And these kind of companies also accept public funds for investing the shares. Okay. So this is about systematically important core investment company. The next one, infrastructure debt fund, non-banking financial company. See, this particular infrastructure debt funds raise resources through bonds for long-term infrastructure projects. The bonds are issued in multiple currencies with a minimum 5-year maturity for investors. It facilitates the flow of long-term debt into infrastructure projects. Okay, simple words. The infrastructure debt fund means they'll be, these kind of companies raise sources through bonds for long-term infrastructure projects. The bonds are issued in multiple currencies with a minimum 5-year maturity for investors. It facilitates the flow of long-term debt into infrastructure projects. So the main objective is long-term, providing financing to long-term infrastructure bonds, infrastructure projects. This company will raise resources through bonds for long-term. Okay, the bonds are issued by this company in multiple currency with a minimum of 5-year maturity. Okay, infrastructure debt fund NBC can only be funded by the infrastructure finance company. So infrastructure debt fund, the source for infrastructure debt fund is infrastructure finance company. We have learned here, infrastructure finance company is source for providing infrastructure debt fund. This infrastructure debt from non-banking financial company is going to invest in long-term infrastructure projects. Okay, this is the objective. The source for infrastructure debt fund providing source is infrastructure finance company, and infrastructure finance company net owned funds has to be 300 crores. Then they can they can invest in this, they can provide debt for these kind of companies. Okay. Then next one, non-banking financial company. If this abbreviation is important, microfinance institution. Microfinance institution. They are the corporations that perform excuse me, they are the corporation that perform the functions as similar to the banks. Loans are obtainable by the microfinance companies to various small businesses that do not have access to the official banking channels and are not qualified for availing loans. The objective of microfinance institution is to provide loan to the people, that is to the people means to small businesses that do not have the access to the official banking channels and they are not qualified for availing the loans. So that is the reason why through microfinance institutions you will be catering the needs of small business houses. Microfinance institution should qualify the following criteria for providing the loans. 85% of the qualifying assets or possessions are to be maintained all the time. That means it qualifies for providing the loan. 85% of the assets are to be maintained all the time for providing the loan. The investment paid by the microfinance company to a borrower having annual income. The investment paid by the microfinance company to the borrower having annual income. That means whoever is having some annual income, the investment paid by the microfinance company will be to borrower having some annual income. If he is having annual income, the investment will be paid means investment is given to the borrower. Then in the rural area, it is not exceeding rupees 1,25,000 or urban and semi-urban areas not exceeding INR 2 lakhs rupees. The annual income in the rural area not exceeding 1,25,000, urban area, semi-urban area not exceeding in Indian currency 2 lakhs. That means the loan will be given to the people in rural area whose income is less than 1,25,000 annual income. For urban area and semi-urban area not exceeding 2 lakhs. The amount of loan also shall not be more than 75,000 rupees in the first cycle when they are giving for the first time, and later on 1,25,000 in the subsequent cycle. That means advance given. A small amount will be given to business people. Of course, this is a big amount for them. Then the amount of shall not be more than 75,000 in the first cycle and 1,25,000 rupees in the subsequent periods. However, the tenure of the loan should not be less than 24 months. The tenure means the loan period shall not be less than 24 months so that borrower can able to repay the money. Then the total obligation of the borrower does not exceed 1,25,000. The obligation of the borrower means the amount that is to be paid by the borrower shall not exceed 1,25,000. It is always has to be 1,25,000. Then only this microfinancial institution may providing the loan. Credit to be provided without collateral, and whatever the credit facility that is being provided by non-banking financial companies, collateral without any collateral security, without any additional security, loan can be provided. The repayment of loan should be at the discretion of the borrower. It is at the discretion means the what is that called as the repayment of loan. The loan that is to be repaid is at the discretion of the borrower in how much time he can make the payment. So these are the advantages the borrower is having. The objective is to cater the needs of small business houses. Example as Bandhan Financial Service Limited, Ujjivan Financial Services are some examples. And one more point you should remember, the minimum net owned fund for this kind of microfinancial institutions is 5 crores. But in northeastern region, it is 2 crores. In other parts of the country, 5 crores. In northeastern region, to encourage them to start this kind of companies, it is 2 crores only minimum net owned fund. Okay. Then we can go for non-banking financial company factors. factors. Like might have learned in FM factoring. We also had one discussion, factoring for feeding. Okay, factoring. Like we discussed what is factoring. Generally in India, this type of NBFCs is very rarely found. Such company normally buy loans or advances at a much discounted rate from lenders. Okay, I'll tell you, trade receivable say at 1 crore for a particular company, and these factors NBFC buy that 1 crore trade receivable at discount. Say they say 20% discount. 80 lakhs you are getting. 1 crore trade receivable they are acquiring. That means the trade receivable means the debtors, the amount which is due to the company. I'm not talking about non-banking company. From the company where this non-banking company has acquired, it means suppose X company is having 1 crore due from trade receivable, and this NBFC factors what they do, they'll be taking this 1 crore acquired, say at 80%. Now the factoring company is going to trying to receive this 80 lakhs from the customers of X and Co. Customers of X company or X and Co. What are it? Customers of X company. Now customers of X company will become customers of NBFC factors, and these people will be realizing. Suppose even if they realize 90 lakhs, still they are getting 10 lakhs profit. No. So small amount of profit generally factors will be getting it. You might have learned, I think, whether you got that in the syllabus or not. In FM you are also, you might have learned the entries if it is completed, if it is there in the syllabus. Latest syllabus I don't have idea. You will be having entries for factorial debtors. In India this type of NBFC really rarely found. Such companies normally buy loans or advances at a much discounted rate from lenders, and after that much discounted, I told you 20% discounting, 80% they are getting. After that they adjust repayment table of the debtor to ensure a proper settlement, adding a small profit. Then they will be sending letters, NBFC factors will be sending letter to customers of X and Co that you have to make a payment, and then they will be rescheduling the amount that is due, and then customers happy, they are also happy. But generally they will be getting meager profit, a small profit. It does not include normal lending by a bank against the security of receivable, etc. But this factors does not include normal lending by a bank against the security of receivable. That we will not be considering. A non-banking financial company factoring company should have a minimum net owned fund of rupees 5 crores and its financial assets in the, we had discussion last class what is financial assets, in the factoring business should compose of at least 50% of total assets. What are the financial assets factoring business having should comprise at least 50% of the total assets, and its income received from factoring business should not be less than 50% of its gross income. Whatever income they are getting from factoring business, it should not be less than 50% of gross income. Means factoring business, if they are having any other source of getting the income, and that income is 100%, factoring income has to be 50%. Okay, so then next point. Non-operative financial holding company. See what is non-operative financial holding company. Non-operative financial holding. Through non-operative financial holding corporation, through non-operative financial holding corporation, any promoter or group of sponsors will be authorized to set up a new bank. Simple words, non-operative financial holding company is nothing but through non-operative financial holding corporation, any promoter or group of sponsors will be authorized to set up a new bank. The non-operative financial holding company is through this, they are sponsoring to set up a new bank. Non-operative financial holding company is sponsoring a bank. That means promoters are sponsoring a bank. That means to set up a new bank. It is a kind of NBFC registration which will hold the bank as well as all other financial companies controlled by RBI. That means this non-operative financial holding company is promoting a bank, and that bank and this NBFC is under the control of Reserve Bank of India or any other financial sector regulators to the extent allowed under the applicable regulatory prescription. So the NBFC, non-operative financial holding, objective is to promote a bank. So with this we have discussed so far categories of NBFCs registered with RBI. Within the categories mentioned, see above on activities. It comes under asset classification on the basis of activities. We had discussion in the last class. Assets, the classification of NBFCs on liabilities. We have learned that. Okay. So the chart also last class I have given. Okay, my dear friends. See, so far we have completed introduction part, definition of NBFC, then principal business we had discussion, registration part we have discussed these things in the last class, distinction between an NBFC and I think this chart has not been shown, but I given NBFC cannot accept demand deposit means bank can accept. NBFC is not a part of payment and settlement, that is why checks cannot be issued. Bank is a part of payment and settlement, that is a bank can issue checks. And we have discussed it. Deposit insurance and credit guarantee is not available. It is available in case of banks. Then classification of NBFC we have discussed. Companies exempted from registration under RBI. This I have given some examples. And this also is the chart I think I have explained briefly there. Then categories of NBFC to be registered with RBI, like in terms of types of liabilities, deposit and non-deposit, and this also have the chart I have shown you in the last class. By the kind of activity they conduct, this today's class I have explained. So then A part, B part has been completed. Just a minute, my dear friends. So whatever the areas I am covering, that I am going to explain to you. %75% to 80% theory orientation, 10 to 15 to 20% is about problems part. That is also we all can easily do, because the bank account concept we will be applying. That is why this topic we have been taking after this particular chapter. Okay. So up to this one, non-operative financial holding company we have completed. Now residuary non-banking company also briefly I have explained, but again let me tell you the banks that is not to be registered, the banks that is to be registered with RBI. Third point, residuary non-banking company. A non-banking institution being a company which receives any deposit under any scheme or arrangement by whatever the name called in one lump sum or in installment, by way of contributions or subscription, or by sale of units or certificates or other instruments, or in any other manner, and which according to definition contained in the non-banking financial companies acceptance of public deposit Reserve Bank Direction 2016, or as the case may be the miscellaneous non-banking companies Reserve Bank directions. But it is not an equipment leasing company, hire purchase finance company, investment credit company, housing finance company, insurance company, factor, mutual benefit finance company, miscellaneous non-banking company, a mutual benefit company. But residual non-banking company is a class of NBFC, which is a company and has its principal business the receiving of deposit under any scheme or arrangement in any other manner and not being investment asset financing loan company. Simple words, this company which receive deposit under any scheme or arrangement by whatever the name you call in one lump sum or installment is called as residuary non-banking companies. These 3 points have been completed. Now, coming back to a bit of one problem, we had discussion of a net owned fund, no? And in this net owned fund, I have already explained in the futures in the last class. On registration of NBFC with RBI, all non-banking finance companies have to comply with certain requirements like maintenance of minimum net owned fund, creation of reserve fund, compulsory transfer of certain percentage of net profit, etc. So net owned fund requirement for new companies applying for grant of certificate of registration. COR means certificate of registration to commence business of an NBC stipulated at 2 crores or sometimes it will be given as a 200 lakhs. Okay. So net owned fund requirements for companies, new companies applying for grant of certificate of registration to commence business of NPC is stipulated at 2 crores. So now, as for the definition, what is owned fund, what is net owned fund, these things we will be taking up now. Okay, so let me begin with this first. Owned fund and net owned fund. We discuss some few examples on that, one problem and one example, so that with this today's class I can conclude. So now coming back to owned fund. Okay, owned fund. Owned fund is nothing but equity capital plus preference shares in brackets which are compulsory converted into equity shares. Equity capital plus preference shares brackets which are compulsorily converted into equity shares. Next, plus free reserves. You know, we are learning in company accounts what is free reserves, which are available for declaration of dividend as per latest audited balance sheet. Almost same meaning we can get it. They are not given any definition for this year. So balance in share premium account. You can expect a problem on this. 5 marks question. Balance in share premium account. This is problem part, my dear friends. Balance in share premium account plus capital reserves brackets representing surplus arising out of sale proceeds of assets. Surplus means profit on sale of assets. We have transferred to capital reserve, representing surplus arising out of sale proceeds out of sale proceeds of assets. But excluding reserve created by revaluation of asset. We have learned this particular point even in bank accounts also. Excluding reserve created by revaluation of assets, upward revaluation gain. Then minus from this, deduct accumulated losses. Balance. Next, minus book value of intangible assets, that is also to be deducted. Minus deferred revenue expenditure, if at all. Then we will be getting owned fund. Owned fund. I repeat once again, very easy to remember: equity capital plus preference shares to be converted into equity shares plus free reserves plus balance in share premium account plus capital reserve representing surplus arising out of sale proceeds of asset but excluding reserve created by revaluation of asset minus accumulated balance minus book value of intangible asset minus deferred revenue expenditure. This will become own fund. Own fund. Next, net owned fund. Net owned fund. How to calculate net owned fund? This is what we have come across at various places. Own fund, whatever you are getting from step A or whatever you call as own fund, minus from this you shall subtract investment in shares of subsidiaries oblique companies in same group companies in same group or other NBFC, non-banking financial company. From own fund, investment in shares of subsidiaries, you know what is the meaning of subsidiaries, or companies in same group or other NBFCs. So that is to be subtracted to get net owned fund. Next, let me explain, then I'll dictate. Book value of debentures, bonds, outstanding loans and advances made to and deposited with subsidiaries and companies in the same group to the extent such sum exceeds 10% of own fund. To the extent such sum exceeds 10% of the own fund. That when I work out the problem, you'll understand. For the time being, what is the 10% of own fund that we discuss? Book value of debentures, bonds, outstanding loans and advances made to and deposit with subsidiaries and deposits with subsidiaries. And companies in the same group. Companies in the same group. Bracket book value of debentures, bonds, outstanding loans and advances made to and deposit subsidiaries and companies in the same group to the extent such sum exceeds 10%. Such sum exceeds 10% of own funds. 10% of owned funds. So you read this again. What is it? How to find out net owned funds? Own fund minus investment in shares or subsidiaries, companies in the same group or other NBFC minus book value of debentures, bonds, outstanding loans and advances made to and deposit with subsidiaries and companies in the same group to the extent such sum exceeds 10% of own funds. Sir, what do you mean by that, sir? We have to find out investments in shares, investments in debentures. Suppose it is coming to around 100, say, investments in shares and debentures. Let us say own fund 600. Own fund 600. Investment, say this is own fund, say A. Investment, say B. From own funds you shall deduct these two, no? Investment in shares and investments in book value of debentures, whatever it may be. Book value of debentures, bonds and advances made and deposit subsidiary companies in the same manner. So investment in shares and investments in book value of debentures. This also I can say investment in debentures, outstanding loans, advance made and deposit with subsidiaries, etc. Okay, now to the extent such sum exceed 10% of own funds. So what is 10% of own funds? 600. No? 600 into 10% coming to 60. To the extent such sum. To the extent such sum means here I told you investment in shares, investment in debentures is to the extent such sum exceed 10% of own funds. What is 10% of own fund? 100 minus 60. 60 how we got, sir? 600 into 10%. So the investment in shares, debentures which is more than 10% of own funds. So 100 minus 60, then you will be getting 40. So 600 minus 40, then you will be getting the net owned funds. So this we will be discussing today. Okay, let me give an example today first. Example. Calculate owned fund of a NBFC based on the following facts. Calculate own fund of a NBFC based on the following facts. So let us say paid up share capital rupees 150 lakhs. Free reserves 250 lakhs. Compulsory convertible preference shares. Compulsory convertible preference shares, it is called as CCPS, say 50 lakhs. Revaluation reserve, I told you revaluation reserve will not be taken into consideration. $95 lakhs. Now how to calculate owned fund? Own fund calculation, I have given the formula, I repeat orally again. Equity capital plus preference shares, which are compulsory convertible into equity shares. Then we are having free reserves, balance in share premium account, capital reserve minus accumulated loss balances, book value of intangible asset, deferred revenue expenditure. We don't have anything. We are having only paid up capital is there, free reserves is there, and compulsory convertible. Which one will not be taken? Revaluation reserve. That's it. Own fund calculation. Own fund calculation. So first let me start with paid up share capital. This is solution. Paid up share capital. $150 lakhs. Here it has been given, no? Next, free reserves I need to take. Plus free reserves 250 lakhs. Then compulsory convertible preference shares. $50 lakhs. 450. This is own fund. Okay, this is how you have to calculate your own fund. So today we have seen what is own fund and what is net owned fund. This net owned fund problem we work out in the next class. Okay. So we'll meet in the next class. Till then, goodbye. Thank you. God bless you all.